Okay, so at this point you should have finished the movie, Maleficent. So what I'd like for you to do is I want everyone to tell the teacher one thing about the traditional story Sleeping Beauty and one thing about Maleficent. It can either be a similarity, it can be a difference, it can be something that you remember from both stories, whatever you want. But everybody needs to tell the teacher something about both stories. Okay, so go ahead and pause and go and do that. Okay, so after you've talked about the movie and the story, um, go ahead and take this paper out. You should have been working on this while you were watching the movie, and you should have this top part filled out. Our title is Maleficent. We have our good characters, our evil characters. All these things need to be filled out at this point. So if you're not finished with that, pause for about 3 minutes and finish up filling in these boxes. Okay, so after you're done filling all this in, you need to answer these two questions at the bottom. Which one was your favorite? Make sure you answer them in complete sentences. My favorite was either Sleeping Beauty or Maleficent because, don't just tell me it was good, tell me why you liked one over the other. My favorite was Maleficent because I like seeing a story from a different character's point of view or something like that. Just make sure that you answer this in a complete sentence. Tell me either Sleeping Beauty or Maleficent, which one was your favorite and why. And then, what did you like the best? I liked Sleeping Beauty best because blank. Or I liked Maleficent best because blank. Okay, tell me, you can kind of use maybe what you used over here, but make sure you write it in a complete sentence. Tell me why you liked the one you picked the best. Okay, so you're just going to pick one of these sentences. Either I liked Sleeping Beauty best or I liked Maleficent best. So take about 3 minutes or so and answer these two questions in complete sentences. Okay, so we're just going to be working with this graphic organizer right here. So you can put the other one aside for now. You'll need it later. But go ahead and write your name where it says name. And then we're going to write the titles of our two stories. So we have Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent. Okay, so go ahead and write that down. I'm going to get you started on this, and then you're going to complete the rest of it by yourself. So we have Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent. The traditional point of view is Sleeping Beauty. And our fractured point of view, the fractured story that takes the traditional story and kind of changes an element, is Maleficent. Okay. So we have our traditional characters, and they are the good ones. The good characters in the traditional story are the king, the queen, and Sleeping Beauty. There are others like the fairies and the townspeople, but we're not going to concern ourselves with them right now. These are our main good characters in the traditional story. The main evil characters in the traditional story are the 13th fairy and the old woman who is spinning the wheel, where Sleeping Beauty pricks her finger. Okay, so we have our good main characters and our evil main characters on the traditional side. So over here, after having watched the movie, we know it's told from a different point of view, so the good and evil characters are different than they are in the traditional story. So take a few minutes and maybe like 2 and write down who the good character is in Maleficent and who the evil character is in Maleficent. And make sure you write it from the point of view of the characters. So who is presented as being good from that person's point of view, and who is presented as being evil from the main character's point of view. Okay, so take a few seconds, go ahead and write that down. Okay, so this part, you're going to write the problem and the solution to that problem. We already did this on our graphic organizer that you guys filled in for the last 2 days for the Sleeping Beauty and the movie. So you can use that to fill this part in, but I'll go ahead and get you started with one so you kind of know what I'm looking for. So one of the problems was in the story, The Sleeping Beauty, the king didn't ask one of the fairies to the party. And so the 13th fairy's solution to that problem was she cursed Sleeping Beauty. So the problem was the king didn't ask one of the fairies to the party, and so the fairy's solution was she cursed Sleeping Beauty. Okay, you can take problems from the story or problems from the movie, but make sure you write out the solution to that problem. This is the problem, this is the solution. So these two things go together. So there should be a problem and a solution to that problem. A problem and a solution to that problem. Okay, these two things should go together and match. So take about 5 to 7 minutes, and you shouldn't have any trouble filling in these two columns. Use the graphic organizer that you filled in, like I said, the last 2 days, and you shouldn't have any trouble filling these parts in. So go ahead and fill out this part. Okay, on your next page, you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I want you to take the movie. So up here, type in Maleficent, or write in, sorry, Maleficent, because that's what I want you to be worried about here. So in the movie Maleficent, write something that happened in the beginning, something that happened in the middle, and something that happened in the end of just the movie. Okay, so take about 5 minutes or so and go ahead and fill that part in. So something in the beginning of Maleficent, something in the middle, and something from the end. So you're kind of writing a little bit of a summary of the movie. Okay. Now here, what was different in the fractured fairy tale? It'll be the point of view of the characters. It'll be who was presented as good or evil. It'll be some kind of part of the story was changed. So tell me what that is and how it's different from the traditional. So what was different in the fractured fairy tale or Maleficent? So this is our fractured fairy tale. So tell me what was different about the movie from the traditional Sleeping Beauty story. And then down here, you've already answered this question, but go ahead and answer it again. Which version do you like better and why? So tell me, I liked Sleeping Beauty because, or I liked Maleficent because. You can use the same answer that you used on the last graphic organizer. So take a few minutes and answer those two questions. All right, on this page, you should recognize this, just a Venn diagram, comparing and contrasting. So we have Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent. Those are our titles. So our traditional story is Sleeping Beauty. So remember, this is where, these are the differences, this part and this part, and this is where they're the same. Okay, so we have our fractured, which is Maleficent down here, our traditional, which is Sleeping Beauty up here. This is how they're different, and this is how they're the same. So I'm going to get you started, and then you can finish filling this in. So one of the differences that I saw was they have different points of view. The traditional story is the point of view of Sleeping Beauty. Okay, so we kind of know what's going on with her. We don't know really what's going on with everybody else. We know what's going on with Sleeping Beauty. In the fractured story, the point of view is Maleficent. So we know what's going on with her. We don't really know everything that's going on with everybody else. So up here, Sleeping Beauty. Down here, Maleficent. So this is how they're different. Okay, they're the same because they both involve fairies. There's fairies in both stories, the traditional Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent. Okay, so take about 5 to 7 minutes and finish filling in this Venn diagram with the differences and the similarities. Alright, once you finish this, then take your 3x5 note card, and this is your exit ticket. What is the most important thing we learned today? You're going to begin with, the most important thing we learned today is, and then finish that sentence. So it needs to be a complete sentence beginning with, the most important thing we learned today is, and then finish that sentence. That's your exit ticket out the door. That needs to be completed before you leave. Okay, if you finish all of that and you still have time, you can begin researching, because tomorrow we're going to write our own fractured, our own fractured fairy tale. So if you have time at the end of class, after you've finished all your graphic organizers and your exit ticket, then you can start researching traditional fairy tales. So if you go to Schoology, go to 5th 6 weeks, go to fairy tales, and then right down here, the very last link, fairy tales for research. Go up here, pop this box out. Okay, this will take you to a website, and you can pick what kind of fairy tale you're looking for. You can go to the Brothers Grimm and pick, this has lots and lots of fairy tales. So you just pick one, and then if you press this button, it'll read it to you. Okay, so you can pick, or if you have another fairy tale that you're familiar with, you can use that one. That's fine too. But we're going to pick a traditional fairy tale, and then you're going to take that fairy tale and write your own fractured fairy tale based on that traditional story. So either start thinking about a fairy tale that you want to use that you already know, or you can use this website to find one that you feel like you want to write about tomorrow. So that's it for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.